Hello, everyone. I'm just a regular guy living my best life or trying my best to do the best I can in everything I do. What's going on, everyone? Nice to see you all. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me once again in the world of politics, right? The world of politics is an interesting place, right? Politics is a big dance, from what I hear from a lot of people, right? That's what I hear from a lot of people is that politics is a big show, right? A big show. Politics is bizarre, right? I actually felt bad for Donald Trump. Yesterday, him addressing the nation, that was the saddest State of the Union I've ever seen in my life, right? In my lifetime. I'm in my 40s, late 40s. I've seen a lot of presidential addresses, and this was the saddest presidential address I've ever seen in my own lifetime, right? Even the recorded ones, when I studied political science and I studied presidents, and I was forced to read books and also to study different presidents. This was like a sad moment, right? Donald Trump showed up in the U.S. Supreme Court yesterday. He got lambasted and he got walked on by the Supreme Court justices. And then after he got lambasted by the justices, you would think he would show up and address the nation in a better way than what he did. He didn't do that, right? He didn't present himself as a credible candidate or a person that is in control, right? He just did more rambling. The address to the nation is something that should have happened the moment those planes created flames and were destroying land and flying over Iran. That's the moment he should have been like, okay, you know what? Let me talk to the American people. This is their country. These are their tax dollars. Let me go speak to them and let me let them know what's happening, because the country doesn't belong to me. The country belongs to the American people, so I have to be able to speak to them. So he forgot about who he works for, and forgot that he's not all powerful. And today, what did he do? He ousted Bondi, and yet he was also speaking badly of Caroline Levitt, a big time supporter of Trump. She's been holding his press conferences, so he's also blaming her for his popularity. They're saying Gabbard is soon to be fired, so he's pretty much getting rid of MAGA loyalists and people that have been with him since the beginning, because he feels like his poll numbers crashing are their fault, right? It's nothing he did, but everything they did, right? So he feels like they caused his poll numbers to crash, not the other way around, right? He doesn't care about what people think, right? But he knows that he does care about his popularity, right? He does care about his popularity as much as he makes it seem as if he doesn't care about his popularity. And so I want to talk about something on a personal note, right? I've been fighting really hard against the MTA and against the Democratic Party establishment, which in New York is and tends to be very corrupted, right? Very corrupted. And so I can agree that the whole system is just pretty much corrupted, right? The whole system, even in the democratic blue state, it is democratic, is corrupted. And as much as people say that's not the case, that we work together, even in the blue state, there is massive corruption because the system is designed to help those that have power and to keep people out of power. But it's easy to get sucked into those power vacuums and feel like you don't have to answer to the people anymore. And that's when people get in trouble, right? When they feel like they don't have to answer to the people, right? That's when people get in trouble. That's why Donald Trump is in trouble, because he feels like he doesn't have to answer to anyone, right? He feels like he doesn't have to answer to anyone. And I've seen this rodeo, right, in my own life, right? I'm right now fighting New York City Transit, the MTA, the union, because I was a whistleblower. Now things are coming out about safety and serious issues and concerns about the way they run things as far as safety. I was one of the people that was speaking out against the safety issues that were happening at the MTA, the biggest transit agency in the United States, right? The biggest transit agency in the United States. So I know what it's like to fight against the powers to be, the establishment, and when people are working together in cahoots to try to keep things quiet. And I complained to a lot of people in a lot of places, and I was ignored. But the moment that something happened on my bus, the first thing they did was move to suspend me and then subsequently fire me because they already knew who I was. They already knew that I had helped oust the union president. They knew that I was speaking up and speaking out on social media. In the workplace is the one place where you cannot speak out and speak the truth. Once you speak out and speak the truth, they're ready to get you. They're ready to take your job away because they don't want to hear the truth. Right? No one wants to hear the truth. And so I know what it's like to fight against big lawyers and whole offices full of lawyers fighting against one person, right? I know the pressure and the stress of losing your job and not having economic certainty because of what you stand for, right? Because you refuse to sell out and you refuse to jump into those circles that are not doing the right thing, right? Because you want to have a clear conscience and you don't want to be involved in things that are not 100% legal, right? You want things to be done the right way. And so when you stand up to these forces, they will come down at you and keep coming at you as much as possible, right? And I know that sometimes when you stand up for what is right and you try to be righteous, these are the consequences of this, right? These are the consequences. You end up getting fired. You end up losing your job. You end up losing your whole right. You end up losing everything because you wanted to be righteous and you wanted to do the right thing, right? You end up losing it all. And so 2 years later, I'm still fighting in court at different venues. the Public Employees Relations Board in New York State, and also in state Supreme Court. And so my first case, which I put in, it was denied and it was dismissed. And so now I'm working on having it appealed. The judge didn't give me a chance to be heard, didn't give a chance to even have a trial, or for there to be a chance of me being heard, right? They pretty much just said, your case is dismissed, um, and even the opinion doesn't make sense. Even right now, fighting in the Public Employees Relations Board, the decision doesn't make sense. The things they're doing don't make sense. It's like they're working in cahoots with each other, and it's sad. I'll put the link right here for all of you. This is the GoFundMe page that I started. This is the GoFundMe page. Any amount of donations will be welcome. And you know what? In the end of the day, I'm gonna keep fighting for what is right. Right? I'm gonna keep fighting for what is right. I'm not gonna stop just because people want me to stop, right? Right? Just because people don't want me to stop doesn't mean that I have to stop doing what I'm doing. And so now I understand the swamp, right? But the thing is, Donald Trump always spoke about the swamp, but then he became part of the swamp. He never, how can I say, stop doing what he has to do, right? He kept doing the swamp thing, right? He kept doing the swamp, right? So my question is, if somebody promises you a whole bunch of things and says they're going to do so much for you and they don't do it, right? They don't do it. Why do you keep believing what they tell you, right? And even though I'm in a blue state, in the Democratic state, and I'm in AOC's district, and I supported her, it's hard to get any attention to issues such as mine. Fighting the biggest transit agency in the United States is almost impossible. The amount of lawyers they have 2 buildings full of lawyers, and they hired a private law firm, the union did, to make sure that my case would get dismissed. My union said I should be fired, right? My own union turned on me and said I should be fired. Is that possible? You could read the court filings in the GoFundMe. Read the court filings and see what the union wrote and the motions the union made against me to agree and to say I should be fired, right? And that they did no wrong, and the management agreed with them, right? They agreed with each other that I should be fired. Is that reprehensible? And this is a blue state, a blue city. So I should be, out of all people, I should be angry against the blue Democrats that are the corporate Democrats that don't do nothing for a lot of people, right? So when people say, oh, you support the Democrats and you support that, no, I don't. I support the non-corporate Democrats, the people that haven't forgotten about the workers, like the Democratic Socialists of America candidates that don't take money from large donors, only take money from small donors, and have small average donations, right? So that's what I want you to understand, that it doesn't mean that I support the establishment, right? I don't, right? I don't support the establishment as a lot of people claim that I do, or I support the Democrats. Right? That's not true. Right? I don't support the establishment as a lot of people claim that I do, or I support the Democrats. But I don't support that, right? I want people to understand that I support the fighters. I support the people that stand up for the working people. And that's what I stand up for, because I'm a working person, right? I'm a working person. And I'm going to fight for those people, right? And so they say, and the Democrats are saying, just because Pam Bondi was fired doesn't mean that she doesn't have to testify. They still expect her. They still expect her to testify in person, right? They expect her to testify even if she's not the Attorney General. They still expect her to testify and fully comply with the subpoena, even though she has become a private citizen, right? And Donald Trump's address to the nation yesterday caused a lot of people to wonder, and did the opposite of what he thought it would do, right? It did the opposite. He thought that it was going to quiet people. He thought that people were no longer they were going to just believe him and believe his word. Now he has a disaster in his hands, right? He has a serious disaster in his hands, because now people cannot trust his word, his actions, and so he's blaming all the people around him. Rumors are that Caroline Leavitt, his press secretary, is on her way out too. He's gonna fire her, even though she's been a loyalist, has been doing everything that he has been asking for. And so now what he's doing, he's surrounding himself with ultra MAGA people, right? The ultra MAGA people that say don't apologize, keep moving forward, you're doing good, let's go, double down on your positions, don't back down. So he's surrounding himself with people, the hardliners, right? People that are gonna not question anything and just do everything the way he wants it to be done, right? The way he wants it to be done. That's the issue, and that's what he wants, right? Let me play the video of Trump's speech, okay?
Very substantially past the moon, go around it, and come back home from a distance that has never been done before. It's amazing. They are on the way, and God bless them. These are brave people. We want to God bless those four unbelievable astronauts. As we speak this evening, it's been just 1 month since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury, targeting the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, Iran.
Doesn't Donald Trump look so out of it? Like he's not with us, like he's in another world. And he just kind of rambling a little bit, kind of, just I don't understand what's going on with Donald Trump. He's not sounding with energy. He's sounding out of it. He's sounding like he doesn't care anymore, as if he's used to winning so much and getting things his way that now that he's getting his behind hit, he doesn't know how to handle it, right?
In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like few people have ever seen before. Tonight, Iran's Navy is gone. Their Air Force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them, terrorist regime they led.
So, like I said, this is something he should have done the same night where the attacks were launched, out of respect to the American people. Now you're coming back more than a month later and you want to address the nation. And then the address just rambles and doesn't even speak about the issues in a solid way, right?
Are now dead. Their command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces. Very few of them left. Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks. Our enemies are losing, in America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning, and now winning bigger than ever before. Before discussing this current situation, I also want to thank our troops for the masterful job they did in taking the...
So it's like no new information, right? It was supposed to calm down Wall Street. It was supposed to calm down the oil prices. It was supposed to calm down Americans, and it was supposed to be a show of confidence. A lot of people thought that he was actually gonna exit the war yesterday. A lot of people were counting on that maybe Donald Trump was gonna exit the war yesterday, and that he was gonna actually let the American people know that we're exiting the war. And instead, he says he needs a few more weeks to a bombardment, which have been extremely successful, right? And the thing is that he goes from we destroyed their navy to we're destroying their navy. He goes from we destroyed the Air Force to we are decimating the Air Force. I mean, it's at this point, some people are saying that they should invoke the 25th Amendment and just remove him from office. He's even losing MAGA loyalists, right? People that are MAGA loyalists with this war. He got a lot of even MAGA loyalists upset with him, right? A lot of people, because he said no new wars, right? Their biggest argument against Kamala Harris was that she was going to drive us into war, that she was going to make the world worse. And Donald Trump yesterday was speaking about pulling out of NATO. He contradicted himself by saying that he's going to get us out of NATO, which is an important ally, right? NATO is an important ally because it represents Europe. It represents a lot of countries that have been allies with the United States for years. We've done joint military tasks, and NATO countries are even standing up to America. Spain closed its airspace and said the United States could not use its airspace. And so now it's harder for the United States Air Force to have a shorter stay and then do the missions in a shorter way, right? Because they could just land in Spain, they could land in Italy, refuel, take a break, and go back out, right? So now, if Italy and Spain are not available, they could use Saudi Arabia, but Saudi Arabia is under bombardment and it's not safe for troops. Um, Kuwait is not safe. The UAE is not safe. Bahrain is not safe. A lot of the regional areas are not safe from possible drones and possible attacks. So at this point, people were expecting that he wind it down. They thought that he will wind down the war, and instead, he says he's going to continue to bombard them. And so, what's the master plan? He didn't lay out a master plan yesterday. People wanted to know exactly what is the plan, what is the strategy. He didn't do that. And that was a big failure on his administration. And that was a big failure on his speechwriters. And I don't blame them because they do whatever Trump tells them to do, obviously. He's driving the car, he's in charge. And now it's going to be a little bit harder for him to deflect and blame other people for the decisions that were made. Right now, he's firing people because he wants to show the American people that all the problems that are happening are not his, and he didn't do it, but the people that are helping him are the ones that have been making these mistakes. Pam Bondi, Attorney General, because Donald Trump showed up to the Supreme Court and was embarrassed by it, right? Was embarrassed. The Supreme Court took turns. I was listening to it, right? The Supreme Court justices took turns bashing the argument that the Trump administration was moving forward, right? They were bashing him right there, him sitting right there.
Country of Venezuela in a matter of minutes. That hit was quick, lethal, violent, and respected by everyone all over the world. After rebuilding our military during my first term, we have by far the strongest military anywhere in the world. And now we're working along with Venezuela and are, in a true sense, joint venture partners. We're getting along incredibly well in the production and sale of mass.
Joint effort, right? Joint partners. Strong arm partners, right? They strong armed them into being our partner. And for them giving us the oil and us giving them money for that oil that we badly need at this point. Because of the oil prices going up like crazy today. Because his speech was supposed to show confidence, and he showed no confidence. He showed that he was feckless, that he didn't care about what the country was going through, what the people are going through. As if it's no big deal to be paying way more money when people have limited money, limited amount of jobs.
Amounts of oil and gas, the second largest reserves on Earth after the United States of America. We're now totally independent of the Middle East, and yet we are there to help. We don't have to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything they have, but we're there to help our allies. Tonight, I want to provide an update on the tremendous progress our warriors have made in Iran and discuss why Operation Epic Fury is necessary for the safety of America and the security of the free world. From the very first...
I can't listen to Trump too much, people. I gotta be... right? I can't, right? I can't listen to him too much, right? So in the meantime, they're saying that Trump is having a meltdown, right? and that the White House is trying to their hardest to try to make it so Trump had a big meltdown, right? And in the White House and said that he's not responsible for whatever happened, right? He's not responsible for anything that happened. That the United States cannot pay for Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. That we don't have that money because we have to pay for wars, right? That was the statement Donald Trump made, and he's getting a lot of blowback. It's showing that he's not in charge, maybe he's not in control of his senses as much as people think, right? This is Fox News on Pam Bondi being out, what their opinion is.
Kaylee, I just got off the phone with President Trump. We have a big scoop. Pam Bondi will soon leave her job as the Attorney General. She is going to get a different job within the administration. It doesn't sound like there is any bad blood between her and President Trump, but it does seem like they want her to go and do something else. And in an interim...
Pam Bondi's not fired, right? Pam Bondi's not fired. She's just being transferred to another job, right? According to Fox News. Yeah. You know what I mean? They always trying to spin everything. Always trying to spin everything. And so, who do we trust? Who can we trust?
She will be replaced by Todd Blanche, who is currently her deputy at the Justice Department. So it doesn't sound like Blanche is being elevated long term to the Attorney General. There might be somebody else that the president wants to go in there. But President Trump soon will announce to the entire world that it is the end of Pam Bondi's time as the Attorney General. He still thinks that she is a great person and that she did a good job. And he still wants her in the fold because she will still be an important part of the administration, he tells me, but no longer as the top law enforcement officer of the United States. That, at least for a little while, is going to be.
So he got rid of her pretty much. He got rid of her. He's saying that it's not a firing. It's not a loss in confidence. But because he needs her to do other jobs within the White House, right? That's his claim. He wants her to do other jobs within the White House. And so he removed her. We know Trump is full of crap. We know it. We know that Pam Bondi had some horrible hearings. You know, should we play the Pam Bondi clips that made her famous? That made her look even better, right? Should we play some of those clips? If people want, I could play some of the clips. Pam Bondi's, some of Pam Bondi's best moments. If you want to watch them, right? Some of Pam Bondi's best moments. And some of them are not that flattering, right? Some of them are not that flattering. Let's see. All right, let's play some of those.
All day long, but not on our.
Let's play some of her clips. So in case you forgot, on Pam Bondi and her behavior during the hearings and the Epstein hearings. And that's what they told her. They told her that one day President Trump was going to fire her, right? Right? They told her one day President Trump is going to fire you. And so
our watch, not on our time, no way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, oh, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
45 seconds, Mr. Nadler, please, Mr. Chairman.
Answer.
I mean, you can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time, no way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
even Republicans were upset at her performance during that hearing, right? Even Republicans were lambasting her and bashing her on how she performed because she pretty much went into Congress, disrespected them, didn't care about their opinion, just pretty much did whatever she wanted to do, right? She did whatever she wanted to do and didn't care what they had to say. And but Trump is saying that he still supports her, and even though she flubbed and made the Epstein files worse, right? Right?
This country. Don't work with us if you don't want to, and if you're betraying our country, we'll find out who you are and fire you. Just like we'll prosecute judges who are obstructing justice.
So let's listen.
I mean, I really thought I was giving her an opportunity to turn and apologize to them, and that she could have done that, and it would have been a powerful moment for her, for them, for all of us. But she didn't do that. She showed how small and cruel she is.
Did you make of her conduct in the hearing generally today and the way she behaved towards the survivors?
It was so disgusting. I mean, I really thought I was giving her an opportunity to turn and apology to.
Did you make of her conduct in the hearing generally today and the way she behaved towards the survivors?
It was so disgusting. I mean, I really thought I was giving her an opportunity to turn and apologize to them, and that she could have done that, and it would have been a powerful moment for her, for them, for all of us. But she didn't do that. She showed how small and cruel she is.
Did you make of her conduct in the hearing generally today and the way she behaved towards the survivors?
It was so disgusting. I mean, I really thought I was giving her an opportunity to turn and apologize to them, and that she could have done that, and it would have been a powerful moment for her, for them, for all of us. But she didn't do that. She showed how small and cruel she is.
Did you make of her
So her cruelty, she was famous for her cruelty. She was saying that she was going to hunt down any opposition, anyone that spoke bad about Trump. She showed up to Congress with a burner file, right? She showed up to Congress with a burner file on any investigations, any dirt that she had on any congressional people, right? She pretty much showed up to the hearing with a burner file. Can you believe that? A burner file. Can you believe that? She showed up with a burner file.
And if you're betraying our country, we'll find out who you are and fire you. Just like we'll prosecute judges who are obstructing justice.
Pam Bondi, that is a lot of work, but very important work. We got to restore our country to its original.
This country.
So she threatened to go after judges and people, anyone that's ruling against Donald Trump. Like, she's a lawyer, she's a prosecutor. You should review all her cases, please, because if this is the way she behaved as a lawyer and in the prosecution of people, it makes you wonder what her ethics are. It makes me wonder what kind of person she is. She must have been a really mean person with no type of ethics and no type of protection for regular people. She just straight up didn't give a crap about nothing. She just doesn't care about things. She just how can I say it nicely? I don't like to refer to people like this, but she's just a disgusting human being. She doesn't care about people or people's spirits or people's lives. She just wants things her way, and that's all. And she'll do anything to get things her way. And this is like the worst of the worst that a prosecutor could be, or the way a prosecutor could be, right? This is a bad for a prosecutor to behave this way, right? That's.
I won't reiterate what some of my colleagues have already.
Some more hot takes. Pam Bondi hot moments, right? Some more Pam Bondi hot moments, right? She was all over the place. She was like very angry woman, very angry at life.
Brought up in terms of the dismissal of the investigation into Tom Homan and his alleged acceptance of $50,000 as payment by undercover FBI agents posing as business executives looking to secure contracts with a future Trump administration. Because if the reports are true, it's not just the underlying conduct of Mr. Homan, which would be absolutely unacceptable, but the dismissal of the investigation charges raises concerns about the influence of the White House on the Department of Justice. Again, a simple question, and I'd appreciate a simple and brief answer. Whose decision was it to end this investigation?
I have answered that question multiple times, yet you didn't have the courtesy to be sitting in here for the hearing. I'm not going to answer it again. And I find it interesting that you want order in this proceeding now. Excuse me, Senator.
Then
you
I'll
want
ask a
order in this
follow-up
proceeding
question.
now.
Mr. Chairman, order,
you sure
please.
didn't
I'll
have
ask a
order when you
follow-up question.
stormed Secretary Nome
Mr. Chairman,
at a press conference in California, did you?
I will ask a follow-up question. Would you commit to either releasing the tape or at least making it available for members of this committee to review, yes or no?
Senator, you have not been sitting in here this entire hearing. I've answered the question, and I also want to tell you that our ATF agents have seized 25,000 illegal firearms.
So we will try again and move on to a different
in your
topic.
home state, we are prosecuting
Chairman,
illegal
order,
aliens
please.
who have raped
Mr.
and
Chairman,
murdered young
order,
girls.
please. Thank you. So
he's telling me that this is the person that she was doing whatever she wanted. She was doing whatever she wanted for a long time. So why are people like, she was ridiculous, right?
Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
Congresswoman, you sat before Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General Bondi,
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a specific question that I would like you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors. This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness get to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't
It is
like the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't
a
she ask
question.
Merrick Garland this
I am
twice
reclaiming
when he
my
sat in
time,
my
and
chair?
when I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it is
Mr. Chairman, the gentlelady's
I'm
reclaimed
not going to
time.
get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentlelady. The gentlelady has 17 seconds.
Thank you. You're not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say
I'll
this.
direct it to
What a
you.
massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering a question.
Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness
I'm
is
not going to
interrupted.
get in the gutter with this woman.
And this is the meltdown. No self-control. No, like, is this the way that the Trump administration functions, right? Is this the way they function? She was an embarrassment, but the thing is that Donald Trump has to own her behavior, right? Because I'm sure he knew about
She's
this.
doing theatrics.
Let me have my
The gentlelady from Washington controls the time. The gentlelady has 17 seconds. You can proceed with your final
Thank you.
17 seconds.
What a massive
So the clips keep going and going. There's so many clips of her doing the same thing, right? So many clips of her doing the same thing. And the list goes on and on and on. Clip after clip of her having meltdowns. Right?
But credible evidence warning further investigation into whether Steve Tisch was involved in Epstein's criminal conduct? You think yes or no?
I'm not going to play a yes-no game with you, but I will answer the question to the best of my ability. As I said, we will look and investigate any case involving any victim. I'm not familiar, there were 3 million pages, of course, with that email, but of course, we will look into anything. The documents have been released, 3 million, the redacted versions, we left them open for all of you to come view. I believe you view them, if not, will you have some copies?
I'd like to.
Could I finish, please? I'm not being rude, please.
I only have 5 minutes.
No, yeah, and I only have 30 seconds based on your filibuster.
You didn't give a yes or no
belongs to
answer,
California.
so let me just go further. Director Patel testified.
So they're trying to play nice with her, and she's acting savagely, and she's like, she doesn't care, right? She doesn't care what people have to say. Right? And even the Republicans
this is
were upset.
disgusting. I mean, I think people in this country are outraged by what's happening. I mean, Pam Bondi's performance yesterday at the Judiciary Committee, I mean, not only was, just awful, but I'm embarrassed for our country that we have people like that in positions of power. I mean, I just, this has to stop, and I hope some of my Republican colleagues over the break develop a backbone and come back and stand up for the principles of our democracy and our Constitution.
Well, it looks like, so Congressman, what do you make of the DOJ spying on the searches in the Epstein file term?
And the thing is, this is a Republican bashing other Republicans and being disgusted at Pam Bondi. So there was even a lot of Republicans who were like, Pam Bondi gotta go. Just like Kristi Noem, a lot of them said Kristi Noem had to go, right? But these were people that were performing under the Trump administration, and he supported them 100%, and they supported him 100%. He surrounded himself with yes people. That's all he did, was surround himself with yes people, people that agree with him, people that support him, people that feel like everything he says is the last word, the most powerful word, and ignore the most important voice in any administration, which is the people. You ignore the people, you can't be president for a very long time. Just like any congressional person, you have to listen to the people. Eventually, the people are going to get tired of the nonsense and they're going to remove you. Or they're going to find a way to get rid of you. Right? That's just a reality. That's just a reality that we have to acknowledge. That the people are in control, the people are in charge, and always consider that the most successful thing. Everyone hit the share, hit the follow, hit the like button on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Instagram, Substack, and TikTok. Hit the like button. Let's get those likes up. Come on, TikTok people. You're not hitting the screen, you're not hitting the likes. You got to keep hitting the likes and that'll get the numbers up. I appreciate you all. And I have a GoFundMe set up for my legal fees because I'm fighting the Democratic establishment and I'm fighting the corporate Democrats. And the only way we can fight them is by fighting as hard as we can, tooth and nail. Even if they turn on me, I still believe in you, the people. With your support, anything can be done, right? With your support. Thank you so much. Right? Thank you for so much. And I'll put it in my, let me see. Also, I'll put this here. Also the Cash App, $ Old Man Labor, right? $ Old Man Labor. Thank you for joining me. And so this country right now is at a crossroad, right? Right? This country is at a crossroad because now we have to decide, what do we find important? Bombing countries or what? And they said yesterday that 23,000 prosecutions were put on hold because the Trump administration is using resources to go after immigrants. And 23,000 prosecutions of crime and of even T groups have been put on hold because instead of going after these people, they've been investigations of people and they don't have enough prosecutors. They've been going after or investigators. They've been redirecting resources, all the resources, to immigration enforcement. And there's about 23,000 cases that have not been tried because of the lack of resources or the lack of prosecutors. And so is this the way we want to use our resources? Is this the way we want to use our resources? I want to give credit to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, right? I got to give her credit, right? Right? She came out yesterday and said that Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez announced her opposition to all U.S. military aid to Israel, including defensive aid to the Democratic in a Democratic Socialists of America meeting. She cited Israel's large defense budget and Prime Minister Netanyahu's interest in reducing U.S. aid dependence as reasons for shifting from her prior support to Israel's right to self-defense. Right? So I applaud her for this, because we got to stand up for how we spend our money, right? How we spend our money. Sending missiles and bombs and destroying countries is not what we want our money to be spent on, right?
And arrest.
And so some people are upset with the evangelists that are still throwing their support behind Trump, right? They're still throwing their support behind Trump. And this was a lunch event.
And falsely.
Where a televangelist, a Christian televangelist, pretty much made this statement that got people really upset, right? She's comparing, during Easter, she compares...
It's a familiar path.
She compares Trump to Jesus himself. She's saying that Trump is like Jesus. And listen to this.
And Mr. President, no one has paid the price like you have paid the price. It almost cost you your life. You were betrayed and arrested and falsely accused. It's a familiar pattern that our Lord and Savior showed us. But it didn't end there for him, and it didn't end there for you. God always had a plan. On the third day, he rose, he defeated evil, he conquered death, hell, and the grave. And because he rose, we all know that we can rise. And sir, because of his resurrection, you rose up. Because he was victorious, you were victorious. And I believe that the Lord said to tell you this. Because of his victory, you will be victorious in all you put your hand to. Amen. Because God is with you and God is using you to defeat evil, to restore families, to awaken the church, to harvest the nations, and to bring a worldwide revival. So I'm going to ask something. Would you all stand? And just, if you're comfortable, stretch your hand towards our president. And even if Reverend Graham, you'd like to lay hands on him, and Pastor Robert, and just come in agreement with me. For 2 Chronicles 7:14 declares, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, then I will hear from heaven and forgive their sins and heal their land. So today we humble ourselves and we seek you, Lord Jesus. You declared in Proverbs 14:34 that it said the righteous.
And this is the craziness, right, of the evangelical movement supporting Trump no matter what. Even the Pope spoke out against war, right? And I'm going to play what Pope Leo said about this, right? This is the evangelical preachers that are supporting Trump no matter what. They feel like Trump is untouchable. They feel like Trump is the only thing that can save people, that Trump is the savior.
Exalts a nation. So we declare righteousness over America, and that every decision that is upon President Trump's shoulders, he will make them in your righteousness. We declare Psalm 32:12, that blessed is the nation whose God is Lord. So today we declare that America is blessed, as President Trump has decided to rededicate this nation on May 17th to you, O Lord. So we invoke your name, your power, your mercy, your grace. We pray James 1:5 over him, that you will always have the wisdom of God all the days of your life. I declare Psalm 91 over you, that you will be satisfied with long life. I declared that everything you touch, you will have the favor of God. According to Luke 2:52, even as Jesus was favored with both God and man, so let it be.
And so doing this during an official event, some people thought like it was wrong for this to be done during an official event. And so, I mean, you tell me, what do you think? Invoking religion and saying that is the right thing to do, right? Is that the right thing to do? So let's hear what the Pope had to say about the Iran war.
He would like to end the war. Hopefully he's looking for an offering. Hopefully he's looking for a way to decrease the amount of violence, of bombing, which would be a significant contribution to removing the hatred that's being created and it's increasing constantly in the Middle East and elsewhere. So I would certainly continue to give this call to all leaders of the world to say, come back to the table to dialogue. Let's look for solutions to problems. Let's look for ways to reduce the amount of violence that we're promoting. And the peace, especially at Easter, is like raining on. I'm told that President Trump recently stated that he would like to.
So the Pope doesn't agree with Trump, right? The Pope does not agree with Trump.
Hopefully he's looking for an offering. Hopefully he's looking for a way to decrease the amount of...
So he's hoping that he will decrease the tension and the bloodshed and everything that is happening, right? So this is C-SPAN. During Holy Mass. After
this is our God, Jesus, King of Peace, who rejects war, whom no one can use to justify war. He does not listen to the prayers of those who wage war, but rejects them, saying, even though you make many prayers, I will not listen. Your hands are full of blood.
I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly an Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven.
Brothers and sisters, this is our God, Jesus, King of Peace, who rejects war, whom no one can use to justify war. He does not listen to the prayers of those who wage war, but rejects them, saying, even though you make many prayers, I will not listen. Your hands are full of blood.
So that was the Pope's response to Donald Trump and him being in the White House, being preyed upon, and them invoking and comparing him to Jesus Christ. The Pope says it's ridiculous. Don't compare Donald Trump to Jesus Christ, because the God rejects those people that wage war, right? He doesn't like war. He likes the peacemakers. He likes the people that actually want peace and want to help others, right? Those are the people he supports, and those are the people that he was willing to help, right? Not the people that are warmongers. Thank you for your support, everyone. Thank you for your support, right? Today will probably be a day that I'll maybe do 2 lives, one in the afternoon and one in the evening, right? because it's just so much news happening. It's better just to split it into shorter videos than doing one long video. It's also tiring, right? So the Democrats just said that Pam Bondi is not going to get away with all the things that she did and has been doing for Donald Trump. They're saying she doesn't have a pass. She's still subpoenaed, and she has to answer to the subpoenas, right? She still has to answer to the subpoena. As much as she tries to hide from it, she's on the hook for them, right? And so let's play it. Let's play the clip of Pam Bondi with Naylor in New York and how she responded to his questioning, his line of questioning, right? She wasn't very responsive to him.
Of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
If you haven't filed your taxes yet, just a simple reminder, the tax deadline
And she didn't answer.
Get them done fast.
And she didn't answer. She was disrespectful to him even. Right? She was even disrespectful to him. Overall, she was just disrespectful to him and to every congressional person. And so there's a big split, right, between the evangelicals, right? And the Pope has been swinging against Trump for a while, right? And so this is Hegseth praying in the Oval Office and invoking the name of Jesus and invoking religion for why they're at war. And that doesn't fall well for every person, right? You could let it happen. Some people will be okay with that. Most people would not be okay with invoking the name of Jesus for your sole purposes, right? To benefit you, right? So let's keep listening to this a little bit. Okay. Hegseth, the way he spoke about the war.
Military leaders actually trying to avoid this sort of thing, because the idea is that what differentiates us from, the radical Islamic regime and others around the world is that we're not fighting a holy war. We're fighting a war for civilization, for people of all faiths, etc. So when he blurs that line, it is causing concern among some people in and outside of the military.
I mean, he's a man of faith. I think he's seen brothers and sisters that he was over with in the Middle East get killed. This is clearly something that's very near and dear to his heart. Abraham Lincoln said, I'm not concerned about whether God is on my side. I'm concerned about whether I'm on God's side. And I think that is a good sort of guiding principle for any sort of politician. But gosh, on the Pope, I mean, gosh.
Okay. I knew she had to be the New York Post, right? This is what Hegseth said. He did a whole sermon from his the stage saying that this is a holy war and that he's invoking a holy war. And so I don't think the Pope agrees with their messaging.
Now, there's a long history of U.S. military leaders actually trying to avoid this sort of thing, because the idea is that what differentiates us from the radical Islamic regime and others around the world is that we're not fighting a holy war. We're fighting a war for civilization, for people of all faiths, etc. So when he blurs that line, it is causing concern among some
She
people.
had to
in and
throw in
outside
the
of world.
centrist.
I mean, he's a man of faith. I think he's seen.
She had to throw in the centrist argument, right? But this war is not justified. This war is not being, we still haven't seen anything that causes a justification for it or an explanation, as we saw in the press conference that Donald Trump held. So I don't know why the CNN anchor is even arguing that. And then they brought a right-wing New York Post reporter to explain it, out of all people.
Sisters that he was over with in the Middle East get killed. This is clearly something that's very near and dear to his heart. Abraham Lincoln said, I'm not concerned about whether God is on my side. I'm concerned about whether I'm on God's side. And I think that is a good sort of guiding principle for any sort of politician. But gosh, on the Pope, I mean, this Pope has gotten so politicized. It seems like he only comments on Trump and this administration. Where was he when 30,000 Iranians were getting killed? I don't know why he always jumps in and has this little nudge to attack Trump.
I love the way they brought in somebody to attack the Pope and say that the Pope is on the wrong side of history, that the Pope is only attacking Donald Trump. We all know Donald Trump has been attacking anyone that doesn't support him or his position. And the Pope has spoken out against the Iran war. And the Pope has been very restrained, right? Very restrained. And he did speak out about immigration. And he's been very restrained not to criticize Trump directly. But now he already gave him time to adjust himself, and he hasn't adjusted. So now he can't criticize him.
Be very critical about
it. Might be because he feels like somebody's abusing his faith.
Exactly. Somebody's abusing their faith and claiming to be Catholic and saying all the time, well, I'm a Catholic. Holman says that. Hexek. A lot of Donald Trump's inner circle are Catholic, but we don't condone war, right? I myself am a Catholic, and we don't condone war. We don't go around advocating for war or being warmongers. We believe in peace and for the humans to get along, right? Everyone, thank you for the like. Lydia, thank you for the like. Everyone hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the share button, like, follow, share, because that's what's going to help us, right? So, and let's go to the corporate Democrats, right?
Overall,
I have to share this. Something that Hassan shared from CNN. Hassan shared this from CNN on his profile. A guy that people are going after. And so, and the congressional leaders are pretty much cooked. They haven't been fighting Trump. Where have they been for a year and a half? Where have they been? And now that the midterms are coming up, they expect for people to vote for them. Where have you been? Where have the corporate Democrats been? They've been quietly sitting on the sidelines hoping that people are going to vote them in. And they're worried because people are voting for DSA candidates. They're voting for Justice Democrats candidates. They're not voting for the traditional Democratic candidates and the leadership. They're not depending on the leadership's money. The leadership has been taking AIPAC money and funneling it to candidates, putting it under different names. The Family First PAC, this PAC, that PAC, so people won't know that they're funneling money from AIPAC and from big corporate donors. That's what they're doing. Right? So let's listen to what CNN had to say.
No, not at all, at least when it comes to you isolate Democrats. I mean, these numbers are just
atrociously awful. A double A for the Democrats here. I mean, just take a look here. Congressional Dems have the right priorities. Look at this. Overall, 74%, nearly 3 in 4 say no. Just 25% overall say yes. You might say, okay, well, at least Dems like Democrats. Not the case. Look at this. The majority of Democrats are independents who lean Democrats. Look at this. 55% say no, congressional Democrats do not have the right priorities. And then you just see a minority, 45% of Democrats say that congressional Democrats have the right priorities. This to me just jumps out at the screen because it screams primary challenges all over the map. And it says that even if Democrats don't like Donald Trump, they don't like their own party either when it comes to Congress. And overall, I mean, my goodness gracious.
So this is sort of like Democrat on Democrat crime here. What's overall approval among Democrats of their leaders?
Yeah, okay. So, you know, you speak about Democrat on Democrat crime, and I want to know how unusual what we're seeing right now about how Democrats feel about Democrats in Congress is. Take a look at this. This is a trend line going back through the years, midterm elections in which there's a GOP president. Look at this. In 2006, Dems' net approval of congressional Democratic leaders was plus 28. You go back to the last midterm, look at that, plus 19. Very much on the positive side. The bottom has fallen out. The bottom has fallen out. Minus 4 points. That is Democrats. Democrats' own net approval of their own congressional leaders. Even Democrats don't like their own leaders when it comes to Congress. And overall, of course, the numbers are just absolutely awful. So Democrat on Democrat crime, absolutely. This, to me, screams, again, primary challenges across the map. And it screams to me, hey, when it comes to those next leadership elections, maybe something might be cooking.
It also just means we have to maybe look at these midterms differently because this is a different president.
Just, we know that the anti-democratic sentiment is big. They just been sitting by while ICE is tearing up neighborhoods, while Trump bombs Iran and different countries, while they provide aid to Israel, and then there's a genocide going on in Gaza, and people, children, and people are being starved in Cuba. In Venezuela, they did regime change, and the Democrats have just been standing on the sidelines with their legs crossed. There's only been a few that have been speaking out, like AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and everyone else is just like, okay, what do you want us to do about it? We'll wait till the midterms, right? They've been sitting with their hands crossed, with their legs crossed, waiting for them to be invited to jump in, right? And then, even though Donald Trump is defeated, Donald Trump is weak right now, they're still not attacking the way they should be attacking, right? That's the problem. They're not attacking the way they should be attacking, right? And so that's a big problem to me, right? Because we have a serious issue with the Democratic leaders that just think that we're going to vote for them just because they're Democrats. And they think that they're going to win just because they're Democrats, right? That's not the way it works, right? That's not the way it works. We don't owe you anything, right? Right? We don't owe you anything. You have to earn our vote. You have to earn our trust, right? You can't just expect that we automatically gonna trust you, right? So, like they said, so this is the hot take, right? You're telling me that they can't fight Trump when he's giving speeches like these? Look at this speech that Trump gave. Look at this speech that Trump gave. And there's no response from the Democrats. There's no response from the Democrats. This is the speeches that he's getting away with
But they
constantly.
should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit. Because the United States can't take care of daycare. That has to be up to a state. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it, too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes. But they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up. But it's not possible for us to take care of daycare. Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things, they can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing, military protection, because the United States can't take care of daycare. That has to be up to a state. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it, too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes. But they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up. But it's not possible for us to take care of daycare. Medicaid.
He's giving us these huge sound bites, these huge things that they could attack him on, and they're not attacking him on it. They're just sitting back. We'll wait till the midterms. We'll wait for the midterms. I've always said the best words against Trump are his own words. Why are you not clipping this? Why are you not making videos of him speaking? Right? Why? Why are you not using this to exploit the situation and to exploit the words that he's using? That's my question. Why are you not using this as a way to exploit the whole thing of what he's doing? Why? Right? Why are you not using this to your advantage? You should be using these statements that Trump makes There's no money for Medicare, he said. And why is nobody holding him accountable? Why is nobody holding his feet to the fire on the Democratic side? Why is nobody holding his feet to the fire? He's making this idiotic comment, and no one's holding his feet to the fire. Where are the Democrats using his remarks against him? Are they busy out dining with the executives? Are they out busy having meetings with lobbyists? What are they doing? They should be attacking every single, and they're on recess right now. So they should take advantage of this recess, this little vacation that they have, to go on the attack in their districts and record as many videos as possible and attack him on social media and hold meetings and organizations and grassroots town halls and even in red counties and red areas, go into these areas and use Donald Trump's statements against him. That's what they should be doing. They should be using Donald Trump's statement against Donald Trump. Simple as that. Instead of saying, oh, we said this or we said that, but use his own statement against him. I want to repeat that one more time, this video, because this is the best clip. And they try to delete it, but the internet, you can't delete the things you say once you say them. It's hard to delete whatever you say once you say them, right? And he's going to say he was taken out of context. Hear that one more time.
Because the United States can't take care of daycare. That has to be up to a state. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it, too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes, but they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up, but it's not possible for us to take care of daycare. Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things, they can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing, military protection, because the United...
So raise taxes. He's calling for raising taxes. He's saying that he's not going to pay for any programs as Medicaid, Medicare. Like, he's going to cut these programs and let the states pay for it. And then he said they're going to reduce the taxes on the states a little bit, but the states can raise their taxes. These are all principles that are against MAGA, right? These are all principles that contradict his promises as president. The promises he made, his campaign promises. He's breaking his campaign promises. And you people, the dopes that believe in him, and no matter what, feel that his words are like Jesus, should feel embarrassed of using this language. Jesus wouldn't use this type of language. Sorry to say, stop invoking Jesus' name and comparing Donald Trump to Jesus, because he's not nowhere near Jesus, right? Or being a holy person, or being a person of that supports people, or a person that is the chosen one, or is the Messiah. Stop using this type of language. It should scare you. And his base is the evangelicals. His base is the conservative Catholics, the conservative people that believe in his worldview. Right? And he wants to get rid of Medicaid and Medicare, let the states pay for it, and not have responsibility, right? Not have responsibility. It to me is both astounding and ridiculous. And so the only person I could say in the Democratic establishment that is doing her thing is AOC, right? AOC is doing her thing, right? I can say AOC is doing her thing. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is actually doing her thing. She's the only one that's doing her thing. And instead, the Democrats are just trying to stop insurgents that are challenging the status quo, right? That's all they're trying to do, right? Let me play this clip of a person that Hassan Piker supports. Democrat Abdul El-Sayed compares the Trump administration to the Ayatollah. We would all not be better off if the radicals in Iran did not make decisions for the people. right? So let's listen to this.
Would it not be better for the people of Iran, the Arab world, and the people of America, frankly, would we all not be better off if the radicals in Iran did not make the decisions for the people of Iran in that region?
Look, at the end of the day, I agree with you.
Would it not be better for the people of Iran, the Arab world, and the people of America, frankly, would we all not be better off if the radicals in Iran did not make the decisions for the people of Iran in that region?
Look, at the end of the day, I agree with you. Radicalism of any sort is bad, which is why this MAGA movement taking us into yet another war in my lifetime, and I'm only 41, is so ridiculous. Because that kind of radicalism, that idea that we should just rattle our sabers and go to war with anybody, that's an open question. Meanwhile, you've got the Saudis, you've got the Qataris who are buying the Trump administration a jet that he plans to take after he's done with the presidency. Those are all radical regimes too, and that we're not going to war with them.
Would it not?
And it's a fact too. It's a fact that we're not going to war with these radical regimes that do heinous stuff. So if it's about morality and it's about going after heinous regimes, we would have been going after all these other regimes that do heinous things and don't respect human rights, right? And we can't be the ones trying to act like we're the humanity of the world, right? We can't go around acting like we're the humane people of the world, that we're the ones that support good things and no one else does, right? We can't act like we're the ones that respect human rights and no one else respect human rights, right? So we shouldn't act like this, right? We shouldn't, because we've turned our backs on allies and we've looked the other way. When a reporter like Khashoggi was how can I say it nicely, murdered, we looked the other way, and Trump is still doing business with them and saying that there's no proof. And there is proof of what's happening, right? Everyone hit the like, hit the share, hit the follow button on whatever site you're on. So So right now, Iran is escalating and there's no end in sight. So the stock market dropped a little bit, and oil prices went up, and also mortgage prices went up. That's troubling for the housing market, which means that people are just not moving, they're not selling, they're staying off the market. So that's not necessarily a good thing, right? That's not necessarily a good thing when that happens, right? So, and in New York City, the fight for the budget is heating up. Some of the people are really upset with Zoran Mandani, right? They're really upset with Zoran because he's not backing down and he's attacking a fellow Democrat, which has been attacking him and saying that his proposal is real bad. So they're not negotiating privately, they're negotiating in public, right? So gas jumped up. Now the average gas, according to AAA, is $4.08. It's plus $1.10 since February 26th. So it went up $1.10 in 1 week. So at the rate we're going, we will be at $7-8 by the summer. And I think that Trump signed an executive order, waiving the taxes on fuel and also allowing other fuels to be used. Because usually in the summer, the blend is a summer blend that can handle and withstand the higher temperatures. And so now he granted exceptions. So more than 40 countries are now meeting at the Strait of Hormuz, right? As Trump claims that ships are getting through, right?
Furniture shopping is all about choices.
So they basically had a
Should I wait
meeting.
for a sale or get the lowest and best price every day at Bob's? Should I get my extendable Betty dining set with gray, russet, avocado, or teal chairs? Do I want my Elm real marble dining set with a natural finish or espresso finish? When I'm hosting a party on my show-stopping Beaumont dining set, what am I going to put in the hidden drawers?
So basically, they didn't. The countries are nervous about the Strait of Hormuz, and Trump now want to.
This is Donald Trump really.
So for the European point of view, they have a different perspective, right? Of how Donald Trump is doing things. They don't win anything by. Right? They don't win anything by the way this is moving. They're worried, so they're trying to make moves on their own, right? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make moves without Trump.
For his own unilateralism. Remember that this was a war that was launched with Israel without any consultation of NATO allies at all. Instead, the refrain over NATO started getting louder and louder as his frustration grew at the lack of progress. And once international allies started talking about the Strait of Hormuz, you heard several American administration officials, the president himself, but also Marco Rubio, say to Europeans, well, time to step up, except that the rest of the world is absolutely steadfast in its determination not to get into a war, not only that it wasn't consulted on, but that it didn't happen to think was a good idea. Of course, Donald Trump's gripes with NATO go way back to his first term. The problem with what has been a growing chorus of disapproval from American officials is that NATO at its heart is an idea, it's a concept. The Article 5, that idea of mutual defense, in a sense, what Donald Trump has done is turned this question of questioning the mutual defense of NATO into something of his policy when it comes to the alliance. And that sort of undermines the whole thing in its very principles, in its very foundation. So there's a great deal of anger here in Europe. Have a listen to what the French president had to say in response.
This is not a show. We're talking of peace, of war. We're talking about the lives of men and women. Everyone is paying the consequences. So we have to be serious. When we want to be serious, we don't say each day the opposite of what we said the day before.
Sometimes he went on to say it is best not to say anything at all. And I think that is a pretty good indication of just some of the anger that's being felt here in Europe at the growing frustration of the Americans and the fact that this is now being laid at the door of NATO allies.
Yeah, and it's very much falling on deaf ears across the pond. I mean, Donald Trump telling the rest of the world to go it alone.
And the Europe is facing a huge shortage of fuel, a huge shortage of all types of liquefied gas that they depend on the strait, right? Right? So they don't care though. Trump is saying, go alone. You don't need us. I created the mess. And And if you don't help us eliminate this mess that I created, then you're not getting any aid, and I'm just gonna leave it the way it is, and you guys figure it out once the United States is gone from the area, right? So yesterday, Donald Trump said that we're gonna stay 2 to 3 more weeks, which is a disaster, right? The markets don't like it. The oil prices don't like it because that means it's going to be continued disruption and continued disruption of the oil markets. And some places like Japan are pretty much in trouble already. Let's keep listening to his press conference of Donald Trump yesterday, which was addressed to the nation, which should have happened the first day of the Iran war. And it was weak. It didn't show that he was in charge. It shows that he was like, didn't know what to do.
Day I announced my campaign for president in 2015, I have vowed that I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This fanatical regime has been chanting death to America, death.
You also said no new wars. We weren't going to come to the rescue of anyone, and we weren't going to start any new wars, right? Everyone, hit the double tap, hit the like button, hit the share button, and make sure you hit up the Cash App. If you can't hit up the Cash App, hit up the GoFundMe account. Trying to pay for legal bills. I'm fighting the Democratic establishment in New York City, the corporate Democrats that support some of the unions here, and also support the largest transit agency in the United States. And I was a whistleblower, and I fought against a lot of the problems that they had in the agency. And as a result, I face consequences of losing my job. And so I shared the GoFundMe and also the Cash App in the chat. And so you can cooperate. $5, $10, $100 will go a long way. I've raised about $1,000 so far for my legal fees, and but I've been paying pretty much my own legal fees while holding 2 jobs. And so at this point, I ask other people if they're willing to help. I really appreciate it, right? Right? If you could, I appreciate any help, even $1, because if there's 1,000 people, everyone is sending $1. I appreciate it. I appreciate any help that anyone can send, because it helps, right? It definitely helps me out right? It always helps me out to the best of my ability, so I could do the best and keep fighting the establishment, speak up my mind. It's hard to speak up your mind in the workplace, because that's what ends up happening, right? That's always what ends up happening. People get fired because the workplace is a place that's very hard to speak up and speak out. It's just a reality, right? Unfortunately, it's a reality that we have dictatorships in the workplace, right? There's very few workplaces where you can actually speak your mind and your opinion will be appreciated. Not every place allows that type of language, right? Not everyone appreciates that. I can imagine working under the Trump White House. I don't think they would care or appreciate a person like me that has no filter and just speaks his mind, right? So Donald Trump's address, what do you think, everyone? How do you think his address was to the nation last night? Was it worth watching? I'm watching it right now, and it seems like he just rambled and said the same things that he always says and has been saying already. No new information, no vote of confidence. If anything, a lot of people are less confident in the United States after this speech. It makes people wonder who's in charge, right? Because he went on a ramble path and looked like he was ready to go to bed and take a nap, right? Like he just didn't want to be bothered. He was just speaking because they told him that he should speak and address the nation. But like I always said, he should have been addressing the nation the first day that he took power.
To Israel for 47 years. Their proxies were behind the murder of 241 Americans in the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut, the slaughter of hundreds of our service members with roadside bombs. They were involved in the attack on the USS Cole, and they carried out the countless other heinous acts, including the just horrible, bloody atrocities of October 7th in Israel, something that most people...
So now they're saying that Iran was the one behind October 7th. You know that October 7th was the Iran was in charge of it, and that's one of the reasons why we went in there, because they were doing violence, but with no evidence, right?
People have never seen anything like it. This murderous regime also recently killed 45,000 of their own people who were protesting in Iran. 45,000 dead. For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. The most violent and thuggish regime on earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield.
Man, I can't watch this for too long. You know what I mean? This is like, you expect people to stand there and watch this for an hour or for 2 hours or for whatever time you want him, I don't know, you know, for 35 minutes or 20 minutes. How many people could watch this? Right? Let me switch to local politics. Zoran Mandani is under attack again, like always, because his tack on the budget, right? The way he is approaching the budget, and so
back in January, we explained how the budget process worked. Well, my friends, we're in the middle of it now. Council Speaker Julie Menin.
People gotta be such so much hate, right? This person wrote, "You lying ass, no good prick. The guy is a con artist. He wants more money for his illegals and to pay off his buddies in his administration." It's like, let's listen to him again. I know I covered this yesterday, but let's listen to Zoran Mandani.
Back in January, we explained how the budget process worked. Well, my friends, we're in the middle of it now. Council Speaker Julie Menin just released her budget proposal. Her plan claims to close the city's $5.4 billion fiscal gap without taxing the rich or cutting services. The problem is, that's not what it would do. If her proposal was adopted, it would result in slashing billions of dollars from agency budgets, and working New Yorkers would pay the price. It double counts savings, overestimates revenues, exaggerates savings on interest payments. And in the midst of this historic budget deficit, the Speaker's $6 billion proposal asks Albany for just one thing: more time to reduce class sizes. My position? Tax the rich. Make sure the wealthiest New Yorkers and most profitable corporations pay their fair share. End the drain. For a long time, the state has taken more from the city than the city's received in return. And I'm working with Albany to change that. Without it, our deficit won't disappear. It will repeat, year after year, asking future generations to shoulder the burden. We will solve this budget crisis, but I'm not going to let it come at your expense.
That was
back in January.
That was Zoran's take on Julie Menin. And Julie Menin and several city council people are now attacking Zoran Mandani. They're actively, openly attacking him and saying that whatever he's saying is not correct, right? Look at this. See, it's all over my feed. They're just attacking Zoran. They're saying Zoran is doesn't know what he's doing. And I mean, I don't understand, why is it so hard to tax the rich? Just tax them. Right? That's it. Why is it so hard?
Right. And there is obviously.
And then you got people like this, these nutcases.
Right. And there is obviously, I think we've all seen the Red-Green Alliance that runs the Newsmax office in New York City. I mean, New York City is elected a communist, socialist, Islamist, jihadist.
This is why I should carry a gun in the office.
Exactly. And the left. Right. And there is obviously, I think we've all seen the Red-Green Alliance that runs the Newsmax office in New York City. I mean, New York City is elected a communist, socialist, Islamist, jihadist.
This is why I should carry a gun in the office.
Exactly. And the left. Right. And there is obviously, I think we've all seen the Red-Green.
Exaggerating, right? Oh, Zoran is dangerous. Zoran, oh man. You know? We all want safe streets. We all want safe food. We all want to live good lives. So why always cast the other side as dangerous? Right? Why cast them as dangerous? And Zoran came on the heat for his skit, right? He did a skit. He did a skit that got people so angry and upset.
We will place a cap on the most out-of-control costs that everyday New Yorkers deal with. Omakase prices. We will free our city from the scourge of barefoot people who bring those little tree slack lines to the park. We will make it illegal for app companies to take a picture of you holding dumplings at 1 a.m. while wearing your nastiest sweatpants. And we will ban the New York Times from making every single recipe beanie, crispy, creamy, crackly, or garlicky. And then we'll ban them from using the passive voice in their headlines. We will place.
So he came on the attack because he was doing some comedy, some skits, and so some people didn't like the skit and said that it was disrespectful. Zoran doing skits, but I don't see a big deal about the skits that Zoran's doing, right? He did skits. He did comedy. What's the big deal? And the other one he did was with they're having a meltdown, right? About Zoran's skit with Siwa.
To destroy sinister old political dynasties. Wait, it isn't all about me. What do you do?
Oh, I'm a content creator, but I do a little governing on the side. Anyway, first thing, you're gonna do great, Dr. Kula.
Don't be glazing me, Z-Man. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I gotta be honest with you. Whenever I get nervous, I treat myself to a new beret. This one is a new color that the shop just got in. Red.
Oh, looks good on you, Dr. Pure. Anyway, there's something I have to get to. Do you mind if we get the show on the road?
Oh, no worries. I got a train to go out and patrol. You mind if I put on something that helped get me through cat med allergy school? Oh, now I know you. You're that guy who couldn't bench press 30 pounds?
21 pounds.
Yeah.
So that was the skit that Zoran did, right? That was the skit he did with Curtis Silva, and some people were having a total meltdown. Curtis Silva is Sliwa was running against Mayor Zoran Mandani for New York City mayor, right? So he's just making a little fun of himself and having a little fun. So why are people finding it so troubling or so upset about the mayor being personable or wanting to speak to regular people? Why? So obviously, Sid Rosenberg, I created Curtis Sliwa. Sad to see him continually attack me. Right? A co-host on the same radio station. And then he said, sorry, that's a fact. I created that bastard. Created him, right? So, and he's a Republican, right? And he's talking like that. He's a Republican and he's speaking badly of his fellow Republican, right? He's speaking badly of him. Oh man, see that? He's speaking badly of him. Say Rosenberg. Zoran Mandani. And he speaks badly of him. Sid Rosenberg, I created Curtis Silva. Sad to see him continue to attack me. Sorry that's a fact. I created the bastard. I created him. So Silva is falling out with the Republican Party in New York, right? The Republican Party in New York is not happy with Silva, right? They're trying to get rid of him. They're trying to cancel him because he's contradicting them. But they don't have it together. Okay. I like this. So today Bernie Sanders did a big endorsement. Today Bernie Sanders did a big endorsement. Bernie endorses Claire for Congress. So Bernie Sanders decided to endorse Claire Valdez over Antonio Reynoso. Antonio Reynoso was basically is a Democratic party, the new visions he established in Brooklyn, and now he was endorsed by Nydia Velasquez, and now Bernie Sanders went around and endorsed Claire Valdez for the congressional seat, right? He endorsed Claire Valdez, which is interesting and always a good thing when Bernie Sanders does this, right? Always good when Bernie Sanders does stuff like this. Bernie endorses Claire for Congress. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all your support. Let's keep fighting for the budget that we all deserve. Let's keep fighting against the corporate interests, big real estate lobbyists, big money interests. We need to fight against that. I'll be back on tomorrow. I'll be doing double lives this whole week, possibly, and I need you to double that support. Whatever channel you're watching me on, I need double the support this week. I appreciate you all. Thank you for joining me. I'm Celso Garcia, signing off. Thank you for your support, everyone. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.